Hello everyone, it's Maha. So nice to be with you again. Thank you for joining me. This video was inspired by Sandra from the Whispering Well. I just watched one of her videos where she shared a dream that she recently had. And I loved it. I loved that she shared her dream. And I was thinking that I think it's just so important to share our dreams with each other, share our dreams with people who are willing to listen and who care. Of course, this goes both for our waking dreams and our night dreams. But one of the things that people always ask me when it comes to dream work, every time I've discussed dream work on my channel, is how do you remember your dreams? Or do you have any techniques for remembering dreams? And one of the really important techniques that I find, and I remember even reading about this in a psychology article many years ago when I was doing a research on dreams, one of the ways to invite your dreams to appear to you in your waking life, meaning to promote dream recall, is simply just by talking about it, being excited about it whenever you remember a dream, to share it with friends or people who are really interested in listening. And so when I was listening to Sandra's dream, it was really cool just because, the symbolism of dreams is just so endless. I think she called, I'm gonna link the video down below, I think she called it my strange dream, and she was kind of giggling and saying it's kind of like a weird dream. And I remember the whole time I was thinking, is there such a thing as a normal dream? So it kind of inspired me to share one of the dreams that I've had recently that was really meaningful to me, and I want to use this as a sort of gateway to opening up the conversation or the thinking behind how we can use dreams to create or to use dreams as inspiration for our creative work. I know we use tarot a lot of times for that creative flow when we're feeling stuck, either as writers or any kind of artist. I know that we use tarot a lot, and I think dreams can be used in the same way. And I wanted to share a dream that I had recently, which was really meaningful to me, and also to share with you how I used that dream in my own creative work. And in that way, I feel like we are promoting that flow, that universe of flow that comes to us through nighttime. We're opening up the channels, so to speak. One of my favorite quotes by Carl Jung is, when you start listening to the unconscious, it will speak more to you. When you listen to the unconscious, it starts speaking more to you. And to me, dreams are such doorways to the unconscious. And the more we listen, the more we think about them in our waking lives, share them with others, be excited about them, and use them as sort of catalyst for inspiration, for creation, for creating, because that's what we do. We create all the time. I think then dreams will continue to speak to us more and more. So I had a dream a few months ago. I had this dream that I saw this little girl. I was looking at this little girl. She was around 4 or 5 years old. She was really cute and sweet. She had curly, short blonde hair, and she was wearing this blue summer dress, like light blue, sort of silky dress, and solid blue. And she was just so happy, so cheerful and playful, running around. And she knew she was very independent and very intelligent. She kind of I could sense that she knew what she wanted. She knew what she wanted to do. She was very strong. And I was looking at her in my dream, and then I said to this person next to me, I said, "Oh, look, there's Daisy." And And then in the morning, I woke up and I remembered that dream right away. And I was thinking, wow, that's so interesting, because if Daisy was a human, she would be that little girl. She had the same energy as Daisy. It's like I saw Daisy as in human form in my dream. And then I thought about the dream, because that's what I love to do, reflect so much on the dream. Not just remember the dream, but reflect on it, remember the details, think about it, like what is this dream saying to me? What message does it have? And then, do you hear that sound? Can you see her? She's over there. The little Daisy. Yeah, there she's there on my table, right there. This is her dinner. This is foraging time. She's looking for food. She's probably gonna drop this box of seed on the ground. I'll have to clean it up. Okay, anyway, she's busy. She's not bothering us. So, so then I thought about the dream, and I was like, what? She just opened that lid. Sorry for the distraction, but I have to leave this in since the dream is also about her. Okay, and then, good job. So then I was thinking about the dream, and I thought, what if, the thought just came to me. What if? What do you think about this? This is what came to me. First I thought, it's like Daisy's soul was in that little girl. And then I thought, what if those children that unfortunately and very, very sadly die prematurely, what if they came back to Earth as children? I just had this thought. I thought, oh my God, I love that thought. Oh, by the way, as I looked over there, I see a crow, a beautiful raven, sitting just in the corner, like solitary, staring into space. I'm like, love birds. I love birds. Anyway, so I thought about that. I just thought that was a beautiful thought. It's just something that came to me. It doesn't have to be true, obviously, because how can you prove anything that comes to you like this? But I just thought it was such a beautiful thought, like those children that didn't get a chance to live this life, what if they came back as birds? And I really sensed, like every time I look at Daisy, I just see that little girl in her. It is as if that little girl is her. So I just love this dream. Okay, I don't know if it means anything to anyone listening, but I just this was one of my favorite dreams. So I thought about it, I wrote it down, and then I was sharing it with a really good friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine who really truly loves listening to my dreams. And I was sharing it with her, and I was telling her, you know what, I would love to somehow incorporate this in my book, but I don't think it's gonna work. Because, okay, so in case you don't know, but I'm sure many of you know that I've been working on a book, which is sort of a memoir. It's about my childhood in Iran and then moving to Canada and that kind of thing, and a lot of other things. But there is a chapter right now, I just finished chapter 13, and there are 14 chapters in my book. So there's one more chapter left. And this chapter was called Forgiveness. That was the title of my chapter, Forgiveness. And it was a really tough chapter to write. And then I was thinking, I really want to include this dream that I have somewhere in my book somehow. So I was telling my friend about it. And she was just like, why not? Do it. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, why not? But I had no idea how I was going to do it. I just had it in the back of my mind, I was just, I would love to put it somewhere in my book. So as I was working through my book one day, I was writing about this little section where I went back to Iran 14 years after coming to Canada, and I was spending some time with my great uncle, and we were in the city of Shiraz, which is my dad's hometown. And we went to the the tomb of Hafiz. I did a video on the Oracle of Hafiz. I'll try to link it down below if you would like, if you're interested in knowing who he is, basically a Persian poet. I shared an oracle deck of his. And so we went to the tomb of Hafiz, and at the tomb of Hafiz they have these lovebirds, and they pull Hafiz poetry like on little pieces of paper, sort of as an oracle, because Hafiz poetry was used and is still used as oracle amongst Persians. So for guidance, you know, we usually open up the Hafiz book of poetry, read the poem that kind of resonates with whatever the question at hand is, or whatever advice. Sort of how the Chinese use the oracle of Kuan Yin by drawing sticks. So similar to that. So I was talking in the book about the lovebirds and the symbolism of the ancient symbolism of birds as messengers. And then I just decided to weave a conversation that never actually happened between my great uncle and I. And I decided to pretend that I'm sharing my dream with him. So even though I had this dream now, just recently, I decided to pretend that in my book, you know, this is the creative part of, I guess, of writing, that I had this conversation with him and I was sharing my dream with him about this Daisy and the soul of Daisy. Of course, in this part of my book, I never spoke about Daisy. I never talked about having Daisy. You know, I just talked about my dream and I linked it to what my uncle was telling me and about the symbolism of birds as messengers, and then also as a gateway into talking about dreams as messengers, because in my book, by the way, as a side note, I am talking about my dreams, like my night dreams, because I do remember my dreams every night and they're quite insightful, and so I love to kind of weave my dreams into the past and the present, and so the story is about my childhood and about the present through sort of the lens of my dreams. So I wrote about Daisy and the dream and linked it with all that in the past. And then I was talking to another friend, my friend Ruth, and she just loved that idea of, what did she say? She said, so in a way you're transcending time. It's like you're weaving time, playing with time, using your dreams in the present and then going back in the past and creating a conversation. And then I thought, wow, when you're dreaming, it's like this time-space thing that happens while you're in the dream state is pretty numinous, right? It's untouchable. It's nebulous. It's Neptune. It's really like timeless. And if we could use this potential of dreams and somehow, I mean, this is the way I did it, I'm sharing with you how I did it, but somehow use is not the right word, but integrate that into our waking experience and our ability to create in whatever form we create, whether we make design cakes, pastry, whether we write novels, whether we make films, whether we create paintings or sculptures. Think about the limitless possibilities of using our dreams weaving it into our creative work. Even when we read tarot, even during meditation, even with astrology, you know, any kind of work we do. So I think one of the greatest ways to be more in touch with our dream world is to share our dreams and talk about our dreams. So if you're watching this and if you enjoyed watching this video, I would love to hear about any dreams that you've had recently that really spoke to you, that really made an impression on you, visually inspired you in some way. I would love to hear about it. And speaking of this transcending time, I wanted to also share with you something I'm doing lately. Well, something I decided to do was to boycott time change this year. My friend was telling me the other day, oh, yeah, so you're boycotting time change. I was like, oh, I like that, boycotting time change. I like that, because what I did was I decided not to. We here in the West Coast, we went an hour ahead, and in Northern Hemisphere, just about a couple of weeks ago, we changed our clocks an hour ahead. And you know, I just recently started getting used to my daily routines, and my sleep cycle was perfect, like working out really good for me, and then putting Daisy to bed, and her feeding her, and all of that was really finally becoming nicely stable. And then when this time change happened, I was like, oh. First I was really confused about Daisy's bedtime. I was thinking, do I put her an hour later now, an hour earlier now? What do I do? And then it took me a good few hours to realize, wait a minute, nature time doesn't change. She doesn't care. I mean, time, the fact that we decided to push time forward, it's a human invention. We decided to do that as humans. Nature doesn't care about time change, so of course she goes to bed at the same time as always. It's like, why was I even questioning that? That's so funny that I was even questioning that. It's like too much. Sometimes I feel like I'm using my mind too much. I'm trying not to, but and it's like I suddenly realized that, it doesn't change for her. And so I thought I'd keep me and Daisy's time the same. So in my little household here with my little family, we are operating on our own time zone. I guess nowhere else in the world operates at this time zone right now. So yeah, it just works out better for me. I decided I'm gonna keep the time zone. Like, why change it? I mean, obviously I know what time it is for everyone else outside my home here because I have my internet, my phone and everything. But I decided to keep like certain clocks, like my microwave time, the little alarm clock by my bed. Even though I don't wake up with an alarm clock, I have a little alarm clock timer thing. And then the certain times, like the stove time, I decided to keep them the same because I thought, it's better. Like, I just started getting used to going to bed at regular times. And I want to share with you in another video coming up, which I've kind of been putting off because it's a more difficult video to make since I have to be quite transparent and share a lot of personal stuff that's been happening to me in the past. But I do want to share that video, and it has to do with some serious health issues that I went through and that I'm going through still kind of, but some big realizations that came to me as a result, and how my body has been returning back to its regular cycles of sleep again. Because for so many years it was all messed up. Like over 10 years, I